Today, a window feels almost invisible. It is supposed to do everything at once: let in light, keep out rain, hold in heat, stay transparent, and ask for no thought at all. But a medieval window could not do all of that, and that is exactly why it matters. Because once you look closely, a window stops being a piece of architecture and starts looking like evidence. Evidence of what a household could afford. Evidence of how much cold it had to endure. It is also evidence of who could see out, who could be seen, and who had enough money to turn an opening in the wall into a barrier against the world. Modern people often imagine the Middle Ages as a time of universally tiny windows because builders were ignorant, gloomy, or simply bad at design. But medieval windows were small for harder reasons. Glass was expensive, heating was poor, walls had to protect against weather, and for most people, a window was not a sheet of clear glass at all. It was a compromise. In earlier homes, windows were often little more than openings that admitted light and air. In colder regions, people stretched animal skins or thin hides across them, or closed them with wooden shutters. Later, in parts of medieval England and beyond, ordinary households might use thin sheets of animal horn, which let in a muted glow without offering a real view. For the very poor, the window might still remain little more than a hole in the wall. That sounds crude to us because we judge the past by the standards of modern insulation and perfect transparency. But medieval people were solving a different problem. They were not asking how to create a bright panoramic living room. They were asking how to survive winter, reduce drafts, admit a little light, and avoid wasting precious heat. And heat mattered constantly. Medieval homes were often cold, with poor insulation and windows blocked only by shutters or curtains against winter weather. Even rich people with glass could still live in drafty rooms. A hearth could warm the space near the fire, yet leave the rest of the room vulnerable to icy air. So the size and covering of a window were never just aesthetic choices. They were decisions about fuel, comfort, and exposure. This is where class enters the frame. The wealthy had options. The Romans had already used glass in elite homes and public buildings, but glass remained a luxury for centuries. In the Middle Ages, stained glass transformed churches and some wealthy settings into places where windows became art, symbolism, and prestige. By the Tudor and Elizabethan period, large glazed windows had become open declarations of status. Hardwick Hall became famous for being more glass than wall, which tells you everything about how expensive and showy glass still was. Ordinary people, meanwhile, lived with horn, parchment, hide, shutters, cloth, or simple openings. Their windows let in less light, less view, and less control. A lord could use glass to display wealth. A peasant needed a covering that could keep out wind cheaply enough to justify having a window at all. A clear window changes how a room feels. It extends sight. It brings in more usable daylight. It creates a stronger sense that indoors is separate from outdoors. A horn window, by contrast, gives glow without clarity. A shutter gives protection, but also darkness. So the medieval window reveals something larger than medieval construction. It reveals a society in which comfort was expensive, daylight was shaped by class, and transparency itself could become a privilege. In the medieval world, even light had to pass through hierarchy before it entered the room.